on air.
Cool.
Yeah, we're live. Just my camera a little bit here.
Have you put out the word that this is happening, or are people going to be watching?
I don't know. We'll see. We posted on Facebook and we sent out an email to all the players of the event. I figure as much as we can use this as an episode of Unplugged Radio, it's really for the people playing in the event to, hear us blabber on about who's going to win and lose. So whatever. It's all good. Well, because we can extract the audio and use it for. We got 4 viewers. Look at that. People just hopped right in.
Oh, cool.
I don't know who they are. I'm gonna tell them.
They're Russian bots.
Okay. So, I don't know. We're just hanging out until Mike gets here. At 8:30, we'll start the actual pairings discussion. But I am gonna.
Wait, he's not getting here till 8:30?
Yeah, right. I wanted to make sure we were, live and everything was working and all that stuff. So, what I am gonna do is set up a Google Sheet in this folder here, because I'm going to be recording these responses this time, so we don't have to go back and try to figure out who said what.
Smart.
And if we're going to have a bet, then we got to put some odds down.
Whoa, hold on, whoa.
I think we should bet whoever loses gets dressed by everybody else for one day at the tournament. You have to wear the clothes they choose, as long as it's something that you can actually wear out.
I like it. That's a good one.
I like that idea too.
So we've actually got 4 hosts this time. We've got Jake and Greg, John and Mike. All right. So Jim did send out the pairings, which I didn't think he was going to do, but then he gave it away, the bastard.
He did. I've got him here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put him in a spreadsheet. So let's see. We got John Vanats versus
John. Spreadsheet.
Castanet. Did this get shared with you guys? Can you see it? Do you see that spreadsheet that I made in that folder? Yes. It's called Untitled Spreadsheet. I'll rename it.
Where is it?
It's in the same folder that all the lists are in.
I don't see that. Unless it was shared in a Google folder.
Yeah, the same. The Google folder is where all the lists are.
No, I got a zip drive.
No?
Yeah, I got a zip too. But that must have been the one that... Yeah, let me...
Okay, I'm going to share it with you guys right now.
Yeah, I'm going to log on to the Google folder now. I'll log on, open. It'll let me.
All right, I'm sending you an invite to the folder so you can see.
Drive. Shared with me.
All right, I see the pairings.
Harvest of Souls round 1 .txt.
Yep.
You really don't see this. There's a spreadsheet in there. It says pairing predictions.
Nope.
It's a text document.
No, there's another one. Refresh it or something. There's another one there, I swear.
John, how's the Warlock coming along?
Nope.
Good.
The Warlock?
Yeah, I'm just rolling up a Warlock for a new D&D adventure.
And
the
one you're doing with Cassidy.
Yeah, I'd say it's coming out good. I'm enjoying the character builds. I obviously haven't played it yet, so see how it all falls out.
Yeah, I don't have a spreadsheet. You're messing with us.
No, there's a spreadsheet in that folder. Not only is it in that folder, but also I shared it with you explicitly, so I promise you have a link to it. Check your email. I sent it to you.
The same email you sent the chat invite thing to, right?
No, I just did it, so you would get a new one.
Right. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Jim sent the pairings out to. That's what you were saying. So this isn't a reveal. It should have been a reveal.
It should have been a reveal, right?
Yep.
I think there's a problem with the pairings, though. Uh-oh.
What's the problem?
The ringer is in here twice.
But they're both playing.
No, but
Brian
that's because
Ring.
it's got everybody.
Yeah.
It's got everybody's name twice. Because if you look at the left-hand side,
Oh
it's
wait,
the
no, I
names of
see. The
other
Ringer's
people.
playing both Brian Ring and Greg Anderson.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Apparently, you guys have a really skilled ringer.
Or we just don't need a ringer. Why?
That could also mean that.
Jim. God damn it, Jim.
Oh, man, Jim.
John, there's no spreadsheet.
There is.
You are full of it. Shared with me. Date. Today. Harvest of Souls. First round .text at 8:05 p.m.
I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. I shared it with you. Look, I'm going to share it again, okay? Here we go. I'm going to even give you edit permissions on it. Greg Person. Jay Cutton. I'm going to use your weird email address here. There we go. And Mike Rossi. And I'm going to put a big nasty note on it for you. Done. I shared it with you. Yeah, oh yeah, it's totally shared with you now.
Yep, I just got that.
No
just
denying it.
Now I've gotten it.
Now I have it.
Oh, sure. Now he's got it.
8:08 p.m.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
Greg, look what I got.
Hold on. Ah, you're a classy man.
I haven't used it yet.
Oh, you're gonna like it.
I'm excited, which is weird.
What is the next model you're going to be putting together that you might use it on?
God, I don't know.
I
bought the GW mold line remover after Greg's really positive review. I did a flea market sale at a store and sold a bunch of stuff that I didn't want, and then realized the store only carried GW stuff and then Malifaux and a very poor selection of
how am I going to spend this money?
That's exactly. I was walking around. I spent 45 minutes being I have $90 and I cannot find $90 worth of stuff I want. So I bought paints. I was this paint looks cool. Let me buy this.
Hey, you had $90. You could have bought half of one model.
Right. I was almost going to buy a random Age of Sigmar monster kit just to be hey, now I can do this. I was but then the next flea market sale in a year, I'll just be yep, sell them this. So I bought the new D&D adventure they have that's set in a Lost World continent.
Nice.
And then just some hobby supplies.
Wait. So it's Del Ringa?
Oh.
Why does it say Del Ringa?
It's just the ringer. Gosh. Can I use a special name for it?
Oh,
Nope.
You wrote that. I was maybe that's the Great Khan.
He's in disguise.
Yeah.
No,
no.
it's not. It doesn't make sense, right? We should have 11 tables worth, and that would be 11. So there shouldn't. Brian, it looks like. I think what happened was Brian Ring ended up in the pairings twice. So Brian Ring is playing Eric, but he was also scheduled to play the ringer. So I'm pretty sure we just dropped the second match of Brian Ring against the ringer and we're good.
Oh, because Brian Ring's in twice. Okay, yeah. So we do need the ringer, and the ringer is playing Greg Anderson.
Yes.
And the ringer on Saturday will be Pat.
And the Brian Ring versus the other ringer is just gonna.
I will be there Saturday morning though, so I can record.
There you go.
Are you not playing in it, Greg?
I can't play in it. I have my cross-country state championship race Saturday afternoon.
That's fair.
So I'll be there in the morning, and then I got to leave. But fortunately, the race is in the same town as the tournament, so it's literally 5 minutes down the road.
So you're just gonna, make the race past the store and just pop in,
I hop out of the store when they're getting by, and I'm like, "Good job, guys, keep going," and then I pop back. No, they're apart, but
I was typing in the wrong chat.
Yeah, I was wondering. I didn't want to tell you, John. I was like, I wonder how long John's going to realize he's talking to himself.
Well, so that's the chat for like the people that are podcasting.
Right, that's the chat for us.
There's actually a live chat for.
Yep.
oh well.
I also was like, maybe that's how it works, and I just don't know. I'm not going to correct John. He seems to know how this works with these spreadsheets being sent. And,
Hey, we don't do this very often, and we're unplugged for a reason, right? We don't know what the hell we're doing.
No.
So, Greg, I finally finished reading it. It took me a month and a half, but I did it.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I gave it a 4-star review. I thought that there was a couple of parts. I thought the weird orgy in the sewers was pretty unnecessary and didn't really do anything except shock value.
You mean turn you on?
Right, exactly. That's really what I meant.
Yep.
And then I thought Stan, for all the other characters being very well fleshed out, Stan was such an obvious character to die at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because his identity is basically I'm Jewish, and that's his character. Like,
Yep.
I mean, and I even put in my review, I was like, these are very minor things, but it's just enough to keep it from being, 5-star. I also thought it was longer than it necessarily needed to be, but not much longer. I enjoyed it. I would consider purchasing it to be able to read it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I read it back in high school, so it's been a while, but it's not my favorite Stephen King book.
Noah's reply is, I'm Jewish, dying in this podcast, apparently.
Yeah, but we didn't even introduce him because
we didn't need to.
We all know what's going to happen. I realized that if you go back and listen to our most recent episode, through your like sneaky manipulation, you managed to prevent Mike and I from doing a book and movie segment.
Oh.
And I actually had a lot to talk about, and now I have even more to talk about, so I may rival you.
Wait, how did I prevent that?
Because you did. You and John went with your reading books, and then you were like, oh, before you guys talk about Crossroads, let's talk about our stuff. And then you made us talk about Crossroads, and then you didn't do it on purpose.
Okay. I was like, did I edit out your guys' segment without realizing?
No, you didn't edit it out. You muted it when I started talking.
That's just what I always do if I can. I mean.
All right, Mike is signing in. I'm going to grab a beverage for myself. Be right back.
I'm drinking a beverage myself. Decaf coffee. I literally got home 5 minutes before I joined.
Hey, Jesse Cornwell, when is Charcon? Put it in the chat.
Where's the chat?
You have to open up a link to the actual video that we're posting, and you can see the live chat.
How do you do that?
So, all right, you're not on Facebook. I was like, click one of the links on Facebook. Here, I'll send you one. So
put it in this chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Click that and then mute it in, mute the YouTube.
Oh my god! How do I mute it on YouTube?
You scroll over the video and you click the speaker thing. Yeah. Greg is apparently, similar to the 80-year-old women I work with.
There's a lag on this.
Yeah, it's sort of. That's why you got to mute it, because it's really weird if you don't.
Very disconcerting. Now, how do I get to the? Oh, there's the chat.
Yep. Oh, good to know, Jesse. I was making a list of events I want to consider, and Charcon was on there. There hasn't been any D&D discussion. So in my campaign, we played D&D for the first time in 2 months last Sunday, and they just got to Castle Ravenloft after like probably a year and a half, 2 years of playing through this adventure, but they have all the holy artifacts and some NPCs and stuff. And they walked into a room and Strahd ambushed the party, and they actually killed Strahd, who's supposed to be the big baddie at the end of the adventure. And then they proceeded to chop him up into, in my player's words, into hamburger-like ground meat. Because they're like, well, we couldn't have killed him that easy. So they chop him up. And they're like, well, now he's really dead. He can't come back from that. But he did, and they were all really pissed. It was pretty cool. It's the wrong universe, Noah. Lord Soth isn't in Castle Ravenloft.
Wow. I don't know if I like this live chat.
Just don't look at the video. It's disorienting. It's like crossing streams.
Yeah. It's confusing. Anyway.
So the first match we're going to do once Mike kind of figures out how to click links in his email is going to be John versus John, right?
At a time. You'll figure it out eventually. It's okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some stuff set up here so we're ready to go.
Yep, no worries. I'm trying to pull up the list we need. John, what's your list called?
John. It's good. It just says John.
I don't see it in the zip file. I see John C, Josh, Joe. Oh, there it is.
You find it?
You put John at the end of the name. What a jerk.
No, I don't know what you're looking in. I renamed them a bunch of these on the drive folder so that it'd be easy to find tonight.
I'm looking in the zip folder because that's how
I don't know why you're doing that, dude.
Where's this drive folder that you're talking? This mystical. There's the pairings predictions.
It's called Harvest. It just says Harvest. I'm gonna share it with you guys.
Yeah, share it with me, please. That'd be very kind.
Man, it's like been a rough setup. All right, that should have everything: the text file with the pairings, the spreadsheet, all the PDFs, and it's called John. That one.
Jesse is replying, Unplugged Games, attempt email, new episode. Yeah, I got that one.
Oh, hush up.
Oh, yeah, this is nice and organized. Thanks, John. Oh, wait. This is just one
No.
list. Wait a sec.
Oh, no, right. Mike's here. Now it's all
Disorienting
about
view of
Mike.
Mike Rossi just took over my screen.
Coming at you.
Straight up the nose.
This is good. This is the good part. Right?
Just want to make sure your
I
nose.
really need you to put that meme that you shared earlier as
Yeah, I was looking forward to that being.
I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, right. I thought there was no camera. It was just gonna be a picture.
I'm doing it with my iPad, and so can you hear me fine?
No, you're a little quiet actually.
Okay, I will.
I actually thought it sounded about the same, but a little quiet.
All right, hold on. How about if I talk real close like this?
Well, that does work.
And you get my best shot of my face. This is good.
You get a nice neck shot there.
It's like talking to my grandma. I am the worst.
John, this thing you shared me is literally just John Chastain's list. It's nothing else.
What?
Yeah, it's a 4-page thing that's just John Chastain's list.
You're
Okay.
looking at it incorrectly.
Okay.
Am I?
We are technically challenged here.
I see John has shared the following PDF. John C's Harvest list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Look in the zip drive.
All right.
They're all in there.
Try this one. I swear this one's gonna be the best.
I know. I have all the lists. I could just
I have them
It's
in
the
the
whole
zip
thing
drive.
this
You guys
time,
can
all together.
Oh, there it is, John.
listen
That
while I
time it
read
worked.
all of the
That
lists.
time it worked. Let me ask you something, John. Were you looking at a list when you were sharing it to me?
Obviously, I was.
Okay.
I didn't need to do that.
Well, there you go.
I'm a software engineer. Does that scare you?
At least I have an excuse.
We even use Drive at work for sharing files.
Jesse has said, John paints better than you, has better lighting, has sweeter goatee, and emails far better than you troglodytes.
I got it on lockdown.
But I play better than John, so that evens it out. Ooh.
All right. Noah brings up an interesting point. We are waiting for Chris Snyder to join because he will be pronouncing everyone's names.
I love Chris Snyder.
As do all of us.
All right, so let's go ahead and get rocking with this here. We've got 11 tables of matchups to go through. It shouldn't take too long. And let's get started. So there were a couple of grudges, and the first one involved me, actually. I got grudged. So this is John Chastanet versus me. Take it away.
Yep. Why don't you read your own army list?
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. All right.
I'll read John Chastanet's because I pulled it up.
I'm going to let you guys know something here. This is a little inside scoop since I'm actually talking about it. I have played 0 practice games with this list. I just moved last weekend. And so this was just pretty much what I took to Keystone. I reorganized some of the
So you're already better prepared than John Chastanet is. Based on that information.
I guess. I mean, I reorganized some of the units, so it just played a little different, but it's basically the same.
I heard John's plan was to cause panic test in nearby units. I may be wrong.
I don't know how that's going to work. All right, so kicking it off, I have 3 regiments of flame bearers. This is Abyssals, by the way. One has the Fire Oil, nice little cheap upgrade. One has Banner the Griffin. 2 troops of Gargoyles. A horde of lower abyssals with a brew of strength. I've never used that before. A horde of tortured souls with a brew of haste. I've never used that before either. Troop of hellhounds, suboptimal choice. An abyssal champion with wings, healing brew, and blood boil. That's fun.
Not suboptimal.
No, not at all. An abyssal harbinger, just naked. One Ifrit with the inspiring talisman, and another one with a heart-seeking chant. And Basusu the Vile. 2,000 points.
That's vile.
He's vile.
That's 2,000 points?
Yeah.
So you basically go pew-pew.
Right. You have 2 units that do stuff, and everyone else just shoots.
Yeah,
right? Do I have that?
Have in the list.
How much what?
How much shooting do you have in the list? How many shots do you have?
20, 40, 70.
Well, before we analyze, I guess let's get both lists in the matchup before we start picking it apart.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do we want to go list by list or? All right, fine. We'll go list by list.
Fine.
I've got stuff I want to say.
I mean, he's got the list, so I thought we could talk a little bit about. He's the one who wrote it, like what it.
So, what was your thought with taking the horde of tortured souls? Because I like them a lot better in regiments.
The nerve is a better.
I usually feel them in regiments.
It's higher, but it's a better value in the regiments.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to try something different. Regiments are great with a -15 nerve, but with 9 attacks, they really just can't kill anything. So they'll go off and be annoying. If you get them in the flank, they're great. But the horde has enough attacks to actually kill something. And
if you're purchasing Brew of Haste, the horde means that the whole thing benefits from Brew of Haste.
Right.
Yeah. So what I had in the last list when I took it to Keystone was 2 regiments of Tortured Souls, and I think they each had a 5-point like stupid magic item on them, which never came up really. But it's quite a bit more expensive. That's 330 points to take 2 units, and it's 220 for the horde. So I was trying to cut some points back because I wanted to go. I wanted to switch up the magic items a little bit. I needed to make room for a blood boil, and so it's just different. It plays a little bit different.
Yeah, he had to make more space for more shooting. That's how it works.
All right. Well, before we ride John too hard, let's see what.
Oh my God! Trust me, this is a setup.
Okay, John Chastanet is running elves. He did inform us he's played 1 game in Kings of War in the past 6 months. So here you go. He's got 2 troops of kindred archers. He's got a horde of kindred archers with the heart-seeking chant. He's got a regiment of the Therenian Sea Guard, a troop of Silver Breeze cavalry, 2 hordes of Draken riders, a bolt thrower, a dragon breath, 2 army standard bearers, both on horses. One has the boomstick, and one has the diadem of dragonkind. And then 2 elven mages, both on horses. One has Bane Chant and Blood Boil. The other one has Blood Boil and an Inspiring Talisman.
So clearly also a suboptimal list.
So let's see. With Chastain's list, I like the Oscar the Grouch.
There it is.
There's a couple of things that I don't like the boomstick. I think you're paying too much for that lightning bolt.
What is it, lightning 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 3. It's good if you need to cause a nerve check late game.
I'd rather
get the 1
probably
pip.
have the hand grenade. You know what I mean? Because even though it only hits 50% of the time, when it hits, it's just more fun. The boomstick, you're going to do maybe 1 wound a turn, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
which is
fun.
what you're
Range on the
looking
boomstick
for, though.
is
You're
great.
looking for causing the nerve check.
Right. If the point is to use it in the end game, that's when you want it. If it's to deter people from running around the backfield, you want the hand grenade. And just remind them, I have the hand grenade. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. The 30 points that could be Pathfinder and the Drakon Riders. You know, there's no Pathfinder in the list, which is a huge miss.
Yes.
Drakon Riders without Pathfinder or the Brutish Strength, I don't think are nearly as scary.
Though, to be honest, John has no Pathfinder either.
I do.
So,
I do. The Ifrits
where?
have Pathfinder.
Oh, of course they do.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
And John's list
Yeah,
doesn't
but they don't
have
fly,
Pathfinders
John.
for his hammers. Whereas, you know, like the Drakons, if they have to charge anything and cover, immediately become overpriced shitty cav.
Yeah, but they don't have to charge anything in cover too. They fly. That's the great part about the versatility of being a flyer.
It's true, but it's really easy to force people to have to, like, you can just, especially when you have as much shooting as you have, John, just sit your shooters in the force and say, you don't want to charge me? It's fine. Pew, 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 pew,
Yeah,
pew,
but
pew.
I have a bunch of short range shooting. It's different than the elves that have.
I'm just saying, I think Pathfinder is pretty necessary on those.
It's good. Hey, it's great.
But the Elven mages on horses are nice. They'll be able to back stuff up.
Oh, yeah.
I think that one of the things that John, if he really has only had 1 game in the past 6 months, is probably on day 2, he's going to figure some shit out and he's going to do some damage, right? But he's going to learn some hard lessons playing John in the first round, and that's the problem, you know? Because I think one of the things that I noticed just looking at all these lists, and spoiler alert, there's a lot of shooting and a lot of elite stuff floating around these lists.
We haven't seen the scenario for any of the rounds yet. They're going to be, you'll see them when the round comes up. So it's not like we can play that into it. It's really just about, list by list here. So John's list is obviously very strong. We know he doesn't have a lot of experience playing it coming into it.
So I gotta put, if I was in this matchup, I'd want Vanassa's list over Chastain's list. I think Vanassa's list, I'm going to say Vanassa's because John and John is just confusing.
It is.
I think it has more ability to flex with punches, with scenarios. It's just got a little bit more standing power in that horde of lesser, whatever the demons are called. The Susu the Vile can check one of those Drakon Rider hordes real easy.
Yeah, he can.
The Horde of Tortured Souls.
Or the Horde of Archers, if he wants to.
Right. And I don't think that the elf list has anything that can deal with Basusu. Because if you focus fire on him, then everything else in the list gets to run free. And the Drakons, I think their speed is going to be really useful, and elite with the punch they have is good. But without the Pathfinder, I think it's easy to limit their charge options, because Kings of War, you should probably have 2 forest and at least 1 burial on every table, probably closer to 2 and 2.
Jim has a reputation for very dense tables.
So,
yes.
If this was me, I would rather have the Abyssal list. So that's where my vote's going, without even considering players.
All right.
Can we go back to that comment for a second? When did Jim build up this reputation you speak of? You're like, we all know Jim and his dense tables. Wherever he goes, laying destruction to gamers' dreams.
It's true. All of the tournaments that he's run, his tables are packed full of terrain to the detriment of anybody who didn't take Pathfinder.
Maybe as someone who has, 2 to 3 Pathfinder units in the lists I play, I don't.
Noah said Jim lives in a tent in the woods and he doesn't know what terrain should look like.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with myself.
It's a barn in the woods
because I'm going to try to win that game. And Jake's going for me. So, Greg, where's your vote?
Well, here's an interesting factor no one's considered yet. This tournament is taking place at a game store, not in a hotel, which means Chesney won't be getting irresponsibly drunk Friday night, as far as I know. So he probably has a better chance than you really understand or realize. But
we've never seen him sober, have we?
Right?
I had a game against him in Warhammer that I think he was sober for.
How can you tell?
It's sober or hungover. I'm still gonna go with Vinas though. He's been even though his list is a little different, he's been playing it pretty consistently, and he's done well despite not going to that many events. Whereas this iteration of the elf list that Chesney's bringing is much different than what he's brought to other events.
Yeah, it's got like way less Draken Riders. I don't know if you saw his list last time. It was like 5 units of Draken Riders.
This is a much better list than the last one I saw, John.
Yes.
So it was better, but like Mike was saying, by day 2, because I've gone through this process as well, where you try out a new list you've never played, you bring into a tournament. Day 1, you have a lot of learning
to do
opportunities, and then day 2, you feel like you're really back in the driver's seat and you know how to play.
Yeah, plus you're submarining at that point, so
so Rossi, we're
natural advantage.
Rossi, where are you voting?
Vinas. It's the experience.
So
I just want to be clear on what we're betting on here.
John, you can't put John in the your John is spelled different. I was like, you can't
that's
put
right.
John in the spreadsheet.
So I mean, Mike, you missed this part, but there's a wager here.
Okay.
Like there was a wager last time, and Greg had to bring that stupid purple gorilla model to Lady of the Lake.
It tanked.
What do you mean stupid? It was beautiful.
Wait, do I get a chance? Do I get a chance to have you guys paint something for me? Because
no. This time the wager is the person who loses, or maybe people. If there's a losing tie, maybe we can have multiple people. There's 4 of us now. So the
winners choose your outfit
at the next GT you go to.
Yeah,
they get to dress you, and you got to wear it.
What?
You have to be able to wear it outdoors, obviously. But yeah.
Okay, I'm in. Sure.
That's what's happening.
If I'm not the last place, prepare for some pink clothing.
Salmon colored pants and a sparkly shirt. Do you think?
No, don't give it away.
Baby bonnet.
Hope you guys like lederhosen.
All right, so moving on here, the next matchup, we've got Keith Conroy versus the Great Khan.
I'll take Conroy's list.
It's not hard.
So we've got a regiment of Eloi. Oh, he's forces of Basilio. So we've got a regiment of Eloi, a regiment of Eloi, a regiment of Eloi, a horde of Eloi with blood of the old king, a horde of Eloi with healing brew, a horde of Eloi, and 3 phoenixes.
2,000 points.
Yep.
Okay. I feel about that. I hope you guys
play. I hope you guys play push, and it makes this whole list cry. Because if this list loses fly on any of its units, it's suddenly like, oh man. Like if you have push and you have to push 3 objectives across without being able to fly or move faster than 10 inches.
I don't know. I want to talk about these phoenixes for a second because I've never seen them. And no,
I think they're pretty cool.
I like them quite a bit.
Yeah, heal 6 is
heal 6, breath attack 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Regen 4, iron resolve, but then they're 3s kind of across the board. Melee 3, defense 3, 3 attacks. So not really a combat monster, but they can provide.
It's a support monster.
Totally
support with the breath attack with the heal. I mean, between the three, heal 18. But if you shoot at them, you know, they're gonna take the pain. But if you don't wipe them out, they're gonna regen most of that.
Yep.
I think they're pretty cool. And if they do get an opportunity, you know, a flank or a rear is gonna do some damage because they're still crushing one, hitting on threes.
Phoenixes are good.
I like them.
I think with this list, so I played a very similar list to this first round at Blood in the Sun before the flying changes happened. And Shannon Shoemaker was using it. He's a really good player. And I 18-2'd him. Because the problem with this style of a list is if you can get a lucky hit against one of the hordes of Alohi, that's so many points that you can pull off.
Right.
And so much of its damage potential.
Right.
Yeah.
The regiments aren't that scary.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yep. Shannon's list also had more chaff. This list has nothing that you can be like, well, throw it away and it'll absorb a charge from something I don't like. You're giving up 200 points to absorb a charge or a Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you can lock up one of those hordes, there's not much left.
And it's kind of like you were talking about the other list. There's no Pathfinder.
Right.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay. So that's what we got there.
And then the flip side, Rossi?
Sure. The Great Khan is taking Night Stalkers.
Ooh. And he's been posting pictures of that on the Facebook page.
There's some dark things among Drulia, not just goblins.
I agree. I also love the fact that he named it the Yog Sothoth Khan, which I'm a big fan of. Right. So he's got a regiment of specters, a horde of scarecrows, 2 regiments of needlefangs, 2 hordes of butchers coming at you. He has a mind screech. He has a screamer. He has a portal of despair.
That's cool.
He has a horror with Banechant 2. He has a banshee with lightning 5 and Scarlet Maw's Fenulian amulet, so he can wind blast and also lightning bolt. He has a void
lightning amulet improves your lightning.
It's lightning 7.
Obviously, I was totally wrong. So there you go. He has a Void Lurker with the Dark Lord's Honest Ring.
That gives him regen 4.
The Dread Fiend.
That's very good. Yeah.
Yes. So
I like this list.
I like it a lot.
I do too. There's some balance in it.
The Scarecrows are going to stand up to a single charge from anything in Conroy's list.
Dash 21.
Yeah. And the Portal of
130
Despair
points.
is really... I've never seen anyone use that. I think it's very cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yes.
The Banshee and the Mind Screech, I think, is going to put the hurt on some Alohi, especially if you get a little bit lucky, because those are scary.
Yes, they are.
Well, the Banshee and the Mind Screech and the Screamer all have, you know, they pack like a pretty decent shooting phase in.
Right.
And if you use your Void Lurker to protect those, so if he goes in to charge any of those and then have your Void Lurker or your Butchers countercharge anything, this Night Stalker list can lose a couple of units, still be in it, whereas you peel 1 or 2 Alohi units off and suddenly they're looking and sweating.
The other thing that's interesting we had discussed before going on line with the Hangout is that every unit in Conroy's list is inspiring. And so all of
Mind Thirst across the board.
Yeah, all of the Night Stalkers will be inspired all of the time because Conroy doesn't have any shooting. So the only way he's going to do damage is in combat, where he will now have the inspired.
Right.
So every unit in the game on both sides will be inspired every turn.
I will say, ironically, I think the Great Khan's Goblin Horde would probably be scarier for the Alohi list. Because
absolutely,
the Alohi don't have a target to make it worth taking a counterpunch for.
Right, exactly.
Right, everything is garbage.
Yep.
But I like this Night Stalker list has a little bit of everything and some cool units.
13 drops to 9 drops.
Right.
2.
The other thing that's interesting here is, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a new list for the Great Khan as well.
Yes.
So this is a new list for Conroy, a new list for the Great Khan. So they don't necessarily have experience to draw upon in this game in terms of playing with the list. I mean, Keith told us his army maybe we'll be ready on Friday. So it's gonna be trial by fire, just like Chastity.
Right. Which means Chastity gets to fight him second round. Oh.
I'm going to vote the Great Khan.
I'm going to vote Khan on this one, too.
Mostly because I'm not going to vote for that Aloai spam BS. That's no fun for anyone.
Wow.
I got to call it out. Nobody likes seeing that flyer spam.
I'm gonna go with Conroy because he took it. Seriously,
right.
it's the reason why you take that is because it's 20-inch range all over the place. He gets to choose his charges.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And he knows Conroy's a decent player. He knows what he's doing.
Right.
You know, if you're talking about a learning curve, there ain't much learning curve.
Yep. It's the easy win button for sure.
Right.
If Keith wins, I hope he pulls up a match against one of those shooty lists though the next round.
All right.
You
so
know,
Greg, what do you think?
Is that a sigh of regret? Like,
it's a difficult choice. It really is. I think I'm gonna go with Conroy on this. I think I'm just looking at the Night Stalker list, and I like it, and I think it has some potential. But I think Conroy can really overwhelm him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I can see
quickly.
that.
Right.
I'm voting for the Great Khan out of hope.
Yes. I want Khan to win this.
Right.
All right. Let's move on. Next one is going to be Corey Walliser versus.
You said
Will
it right.
Potter. Yeah.
Wow.
Over time, I've been working on it. You know.
Right.
I'll take Corey's list.
All right.
Lay it down, big man.
Let's open it up. He has the Herd, which I'm very excited about because he's been playing Varangur recently, and the Herd are closer to my heart. He's got an interesting list. He's 2 regiments of Spirit Walkers and a horde of Spirit Walkers.
A lot of Spirit Walkers, like it.
There's going to be a lot of Spirit walking across the table.
Oh, yeah.
A troop of Harpies, a horde of Guardian Brutes, a regiment of Lycans, a horde of Lycans with Helm of the Ram, a troop of Beast Pack, regiment of Tribal Chariots, horde of the Stampede with Brew of Haste. He's got 2 Shaman, both with heal 5. One of them has the Amulet of the Fireheart, so it can cast 2 spells because they're good. They have Bane Chant 3.
3. Yeah.
Which is big.
And inspiring.
Yeah, and inspiring. They're very good. And then the other one doesn't have a magic artifact, but it does have a mount, so it's speed 9 and cavalry. They're also not like terrible to throw into a combat and hope you pluck a point of damage off. They have 2 attacks with melee 4 and thunderous charge.
Right.
It's kind of interesting.
Greg just wants individuals with 2 attacks to charge into combat.
I do.
So in this list, I'm not sure I buy the point of the Tribal Chariots, but overall, I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Go
ahead. Well, I was
Mike.
going to say. I think the point is that he has the minis.
Yep.
And he wants to put them on the table. Like I really think
that is
that's
I think so. And
legitimate.
speed 9.
speed 9 and they have bows.
Height 3 with
and melee
bows
3.
isn't. Yeah, height 3 with bows is not anything to like underestimate too, because you can potentially pop off a few things here and there. I mean, with 8 shots, probably not, but I don't know.
Yeah,
But I'm guessing he wanted to take the unit.
For those 140 points, I would probably take 2 more Beast Packs. But
That
if
was
you want to play with the chariots, I mean that's totally cool, and you're right. There is some value in having some shots in there for an army.
the
that has
only
no shooting
thing,
in the
if
legs.
I was to have a gripe about Corey's list, is that there's only 1 troop of Harpies and 1 troop of Beast Pack. I think he needs more chaff.
I agree with you.
But I love that it is just flush with lots of bodies on the table.
Yep. A lot
Pretty
of hitting
decent.
power too.
Hitting
Right.
power, pretty
Very good.
decent nerve across the board, and just the 2 shaman to back it up, but they're very useful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're going to add a lot of flexibility to the
Heal
list.
10 means he can pretty much, as long as he doesn't face anything too shooting heavy, he can probably make something push through to get to combat,
Mhm.
which is what he wants to do.
Right.
Most likely a stampede, I would guess.
I like it. All right, let me take the next list here. We're going to go to Bill Potter. He's got our first Kingdom's Men list.
Ooh.
So he's got a Horde
I like this list.
Foot Guard with the two-handed weapons and a Brew of Sharpness. A heavy pike block with a Brew of Strength. 2 troops of polearm blocks. 2 regiments of knights, one with Potion of the Caterpillar, one with Blood of the Old King. A troop of mounted scouts, exchanged bows for pistols. A regiment of mounted sergeants.
Ooh,
2 ballista. 2 heroes. One's on a Pegasus with a Brew of Haste. The other's on a Pegasus with a Diadem of Dragonkinds. 2 army standard bearers, both on horses. One has the Lute, one has a Sparkstone. And a wizard with Bane Chant, a horse, Lightning Bolt, and Inspiring Talisman. There's a lot in here.
Yeah.
So some thoughts.
Men can fit a lot.
The Foot Guard, I really, really don't like the Foot Guard exchanging their two-handed weapons. I get what he's trying to do with the Brew of Sharpness, but I think keeping that defense 5, because there's not much defense 5 in the Kingdom's Men period, and then giving them Brew of Strength with Bane Chant backing them up just makes them a better unit. Hitting on 2s is nice, but...
Yeah, but you know, their nerve is high enough where they can take a punch and they're going to get to countercharge.
Yeah,
right. Sure.
When they do, they're going to be hitting on 2s with Crushing 2 if he's got Bane Chant in there.
No, I totally get it. It's a cool idea. If I was just I'd rather have a defense 5 hitting on 3s with 1 Crushing and Bane Chant backing up. Because my fear would be defense 4. If I have shooting, I'm going to shoot that unit, and since it's a horde, you're probably not keeping it out of sight.
Yeah, but
really,
the knights are the only thing that's listed hit on 3s in melee.
Right.
So it's all the other units. I mean, so it's nice because he's got all these other infantry units that don't hit very hard.
Yeah, I think the shooting is going to be worried about the faster threats like the Peg Heroes and the Knights and them. Yeah. I love the mounted sergeants.
The mounted sergeants
and Speed 9 is awesome.
Yes. And then the other thing, the heavy pike block, elite, ensnare, phalanx, Brew of Strength. Right? 30 attacks hitting on 4's defense 4, but elite, ensnare, and phalanx.
Yeah.
So no thunderous charge for Corey.
Right.
Right? And -1 to hit.
Yeah.
So what does he have that's going to go in there besides his 8 bow shots from the back of those chariots, right?
The spirit walkers can go into them.
The Stampede can still go in.
Why? Oh, okay. Right. Okay, the Stampede will make a mess of everything.
He can just chaff it. I mean, so if we're talking about matchup-wise, I think the problem
but Bill's got more chaff.
He does.
He does, yeah.
He's got a lot of little bros running around.
Yep.
So he's got the mounted. Yeah, I mean, he does have a decent amount here. I don't know. I think Corey's going to outspeed him. Corey's chaff is quicker, so he can pick the stuff a little bit faster. And what really is going to matter is if those ballistas can hit early on.
Start dealing damage to stuff.
The mounted heroes on Pegasus are kind of cool, but I don't know. 3 attacks is... I just don't like them. And I think that's partially just my play style.
I like Bill's list, but I think Corey has a lot of experience. He hasn't been playing with the herd, but he's just a good Kings of War player.
Right.
So that's a factor too.
The Kingdoms of Men list is cool. There's definitely some cool touches here, and I'd be interested to hear how it does.
I'll be honest. I think that if Corey's troops were all movement 5 like Bill's, I think that I would give it to Bill. But everything that Corey has is 1 inch faster, and that's going to make a difference, right?
I think that I agree with you, but Jake is undervaluing the heroes on the pegs because they can, when the time comes where, so
they can jump
a little bit faster. Those heroes can just jump over, charge in, allow the other units to move up behind them safely. Maybe he loses the heroes on the counter charge. Maybe not, because they're defense 5 and he's cutting Thunderous Charge from stuff.
Takes away Thunderous Charge.
And then those other units come in.
But everything on Corey's list that has Thunderous Charge that not an obscene amount of attacks has Crushing Strength. Anything in Corey's list minus his chaff pops those heroes in one go.
You say that, but then dice get rolled.
I mean, I would say
and averages don't come into play.
I would say you have less than a 20% chance of those heroes holding against most of the units in Corey's list, minus maybe the Lycan Regiment and the Beast Pack and the Harpies.
I would say don't be a weather forecaster.
I know.
Jake, just look at this though. The Stampede comes in statistically, it does 7 damage to one of those heroes, which
with a 10-12 nerve.
Yeah. So listen,
with no inspiring,
it could pop it, but
I know.
Oh my god, they don't have inspiring.
No, that's why they're so cheap. But what? Yeah, I mean, the army standard bearer could very well be inspiring them.
I mean, their goal is
slightly under average, and all of a sudden they could hold.
No, I get it. Their goal is to stop you. I totally get it. And it's a cool thing. I just don't think. I don't know. I like the idea of troops of mounted sergeants better. They get a couple more attacks. They can be a little bit more threatening on the flank. Like I said, I really don't like the foot guard thing. I see what he's trying to do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I face foot guard with the defense 5, Bruise Strength, Bane Chant, and they can go 3 turns against most things. This unit can only take 1 charge. Next turn they counter hit. If they get hit again, they're gone.
I think you're making a big distinction between defense 5 and defense 4. It's only 2 or 3 more wounds. It's 2 more wounds. It's 3 more wounds.
It depends what you're facing, man, because most things with Crushing Strength 1 and any Bane Chant backing up are going to wound the foot guard on 1, it's going to wound the defense 5 on a little bit worse. It's that little bit extra that keeps you in the fight. I don't know. I got to give it to Corey. I think a Kingdoms of Men list is cool. It's trying some cool stuff, but it's not the style I would do with Kingdoms of Men.
I'm going to take Corey on this one, too.
All right. Got it down? Got it sold down for Corey?
Everybody's going Corey on this one?
Yeah. I am.
Okay.
I'm arguing for the strength of Bill's list, but I do think Corey's going to pull out.
It's definitely a flexible and cool list, and I'm being nitpicky because it makes better discussion.
All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is Mike Rossi himself versus Joe Taylor. So, Mike, why don't you – and Joe put his list in. It's called Joe's Killer Elves.
Yep.
So, but Mike, why don't you give us your list first?
My list is awful.
He immediately regretted it after he submitted.
I did. I said
this
it
list
in,
is fine.
We
talk so much about this list is good. You were so
Listen,
Rossi, ride that train of being positive, man. It take you far.
Right. So this is my Empire list from when I was playing the other game, repurposed for Kings of War. So it has League of Rortia. It has 2 regiments of knights, one with the Potion of the Caterpillar and one with the Brew of Strength. It has a troop of Halfling Ranger Cavalry. It has 2 hordes of Honor Guard, one with the Healing Brew and one with the Blood of the Old King.
Sounds terrible so far.
It's awful. It has a Halfling Volley Gun. It has a Iron Beast. It has 2 Dukes with Winged Arrowlets, one with the Diadem of Dragonkind and one with the Brew of Haste, because apparently that's how you take your flying characters.
It is.
An Army BSB with the Banner of the Griffin, and a Wizard mounted on a horse with Bane Chant 2, the Inspiring Talisman. 2,000 points.
I like it.
So
I don't know how you could even submit this and expect to play.
It's awful.
Honor Guard are so good, dude.
I know they're good. I'm not saying that the list is not going to perform well. What I'm saying is there's no chaff. It just zergs forward, and then we'll see what happens. There really isn't a lot of...
Isn't that how you play?
This is what I think about that. All right?
My
opinion.
My only thing here, and I agree with you, there's not a lot of chaff. You are...
No. I playing
Rortia, you don't have a lot, but... I want that Potion of the Caterpillar on the Honor Guard.
I know.
Nice.
Didn't you miss Rossi and I tried it? Weren't you in the chat with this, Greg, in the email? But he has a solid reason for the Knights, because the Knights giving them Potion of the Caterpillar makes it 3 threats, potentially 4 threats, rather than 2 threats and 2 medium threats.
Right.
I don't know if I agree, but there's a reason behind it. I think you'll be surprised, dude. Those Honor Guard mess stuff up.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I've been charged by them, and I've had to pick every unit up. Every unit that gets touched by them, I go, "Oh, it was nice playing. We got to put these over here, right?"
You punch stuff in the face hard. You're basically playing a Varangur list right here. I think you'll have a good time. It's really different from your dwarves. You don't have to. You don't have to worry as much about outmaneuvering people. You just punch them in the face because you punch harder than most other things out there.
Right, and with the and my thinking is with the Iron Resolve and some other stuff, I can take a punch first and then go get you.
Right.
That's my thinking. So anyway, that's the list.
All right, and now we've got Joe's Killer Elves. So we've got a horde of kindred archers with Heart-Seeking Chant. I just want to say, Nimble's the way to go, right? Like, Heart-Seeking Chant isn't as good as Nimble.
I think you should have two, and one of them should have Nimble, and the other should have Heart-Seeking.
I think you should leave the chat, John. So we've got a horde with Heart-Seeking Chant. A horde of
wait. Can I just say something that this is almost identical to the list that I took to Masters?
I was thinking that actually.
Me too.
I wonder if it was modeled after something. I don't know.
A horde of Sea Guard. Then we've got
Did you send him an
Stormwind
email?
We posted it publicly on the cast, man. Regiment of Stormwind Cav with Bruise Strength. A horde of Dracons with Potion and Caterpillar. 2 Dragon Breaths. An Elven Mage with Bane Chant and Inspiring Talisman. Elven Prince with Horse and Sparkstone. Ugh. The Dragon... Elven Princes are so bad.
They're bad, yeah.
A Kindred Lord with Boots of Dragon Kindred Lord with Boots of Levitation for the March and the Breath.
I like that.
And then a Dragon Rider Lord with the Diadem of Dragonkind. When I was reading this, I thought he had a second Dragon Kindred Lord.
Right.
Diadem, and I was like, why would you do that? And then I realized. So Elf Princes are awful. They're terrible.
I mean, it's 60 points though.
But you could buy a Standard Bearer for that, and it's always going to do more for your army.
Based on that, I think the entire list is awful. Is that what you're saying? Because everything here is scary, right?
The Elf Prince is bad. The rest of it, I mean, this is what we're seeing like all across tournaments. It's a standard elf list. I don't particularly like the Sea Guard, but they're not bad.
I think the Sea Guard with Nimble are really good.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What's up, Greg?
You are just ridiculous.
Right.
No, it's not great, but it certainly has uses that
for sure
the Standard Bearer does not have.
You mean the Elf Prince?
A valuable choice.
You like the Prince?
I'm not saying I think it's great, but I don't think it's. You were saying the Standard Bearer is always better.
I think so.
The Elven Prince has the ability to charge into with an 18-inch charge range something like, the breath attack war machines.
True.
And take them out. It'll have 9 attacks hitting on 3.
9 attacks.
Whereas the Standard Bearer can't do that.
It's true. Well, 3 attacks with the Standard Bearer probably still going to deal 1 wound to a war machine.
Not really.
With
Standard Bearers hitting on 4s or 5s.
Hitting on 4, yeah. I get the point. I don't like the Elf Prince not being inspiring.
It doesn't inspire you.
I don't like those cheap heroes that have like 3 attacks because it's too easy to like hit with nothing and have your 100-point dude die.
I don't know. 3s with elite is usually not hit with nothing. That's pretty.
It's true.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Elf Prince. Just not.
Okay, so Elf Prince aside, look, the rest of the list has a lot of capable things in it.
Yep. I mean, it flies around, it shoots. That's what the elf build does. I don't think this is anything groundbreaking. I mean, it's elves. It doesn't have blood boil. That's cool.
That's the groundbreaking thing, is it doesn't have blood boil.
Like, I don't know.
Right?
We could talk about elves, but I think the prince is the only thing that stands out that's not like Alan Beaner's list from,
No, this is very different. I'm going to make a statement right now. It is very different. Alan's list, because of the blood boil and just 3 units of chaff to just run in front.
Okay.
All it did, I will remove that unit, and next turn I'll remove that unit, and next turn you have no more units, and that's it. Right?
Mm.
This is a little different.
That's fair. Okay. What do you guys think?
I mean, if I'm looking at this, right, he's got the Stormwind Cavalry, he's got the Draken Riders, and those are the things that are going to fly around and be pains in the rump. And he's got the 2
and the dragon.
He's got the dragon and the Drakon Lord, right? Mm-hmm. So he's got 2 flying heroes like I do. His are better.
Yep.
He has 2 things that punch you in the face. I have 5. He's got a billion shots, and I have 1 war machine.
Right.
So my job is to run over there, and his job is to remove my crap before I get there.
Yeah.
He does have very little piercing
Right?
on his shooting, though.
Yeah.
Right. He's got the heart-seeking chant, and because he's only got Bane Chant 2.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have a lot of defense 5.
Yep. So I don't think the Kindred Archers are the Kindred Archers. The heart-seeking chant's going to be money against you, but I don't see the Sea Guard doing really much damage at all to you.
The Phalanx is going to help. Anything I move over there will lose TC. I'll have CS on one of the units.
You hit them with Honor Guard. They don't need the TC.
Yeah, but Jake, if I hit anything with Honor Guard, they don't need. You know what I mean? But I don't have 7 units of them. I got 2.
You got 2, but
Right?
I think you're more likely to be able to hit the Sea Guard with the Honor Guard than anything else in his list with Honor Guard. Like, is he really going to give you the Dracons with the Honor Guard?
No.
You know,
No, he isn't.
If you hit the Archers with anything, it's a problem for the Archers. I don't know. The Phalanx is good. Just don't charge your Cav units into the Sea Guard, and it won't matter that they have Phalanx. Everything else.
I think the point though is that if Joe can manage to take off one of those units of Honor Guard,
he'll be in trouble.
Right.
Then all of a sudden he has a strong advantage because the rest of Mike's stuff is out distanced or is going to have problems breaking through.
Now that the Hellblaster could do, I mean, the Hellblaster could peel off something of his in return. I mean, it does a decent amount of damage to Stormwind Cav or the Drakon Rider.
Bro, it does this many wounds on average.
On average, but
it does this many wounds on sometimes I get lucky, and it does that many.
Mike has to go at him.
4.
Hellblaster's not
for sure, but
he's got to go into the Dragon Breaths and into the Archers.
It's true. Yeah. I don't think the shooting in the Elf list is not going to be as scary against Mike as the Drakons and the Stormwind are. If you can lock down the Drakons and the Stormwind and get rid of them, the shooting isn't going to peel off enough to win the game.
I just know that at the Unplugged GT, I remember walking around as a TO and just watching people pull units off from them getting lit up by Elf Archers.
Defense 5 against Elf Archers makes a huge difference.
Yeah. I do like that he called it Joe's Killer Elves. So, I mean, he knows what they're doing.
Right.
Right. Joe's best elf list ever.
A lot of it's going to depend on scenario in this particular match.
Because he's only got 2 things that are really going to go out and actually claim objectives.
Right. And neither list has the chaff to be able to deal with a long trading game. So, and I think if it comes down to something like, I don't know, push, loot, I think, Mike, you have the edge. If it's something like control or invade, I think suddenly the elf list has the edge.
Oh, I want invade. Nothing's going to be on my half of the table by turn 2.
But I think the problem with invade is because his elves are so fast, he can sit back, let you jump on his side, hit the stuff that you jump across with, and then jump over on your side fast enough. Whereas like loot, his stuff gets slowed down.
Right.
Push, his stuff gets slowed down.
Yep.
I don't know. It's 50-50, so I got to go with my boy Mike.
I am going to go with me, mostly because of that. So you know, but I'm going with me. Mostly because I can't. If I vote for Joe and I throw the game to win this little bet of ours, there's going to be collusion. So I have to vote for me.
Ooh, I'm going to go for Mike too because I think Mike's tournament experience also speaks leagues to what he can do with his list versus Joe, who doesn't get to play quite as much.
Well, and I'm not playing Greg or Peyton, so I'm guaranteed to play well.
I was going to say, after our last game, Rossi learned how nimble charges work. So I think
yes,
corkscrew.
I think he's in good shape.
That's how that works.
Although we're agreeing too much. How are we going to win this?
We're only 4 matchups in.
Okay.
There's 7 more to go, dude.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you're voting for yourself, obviously. Greg, you're going for Mike as well.
Yeah, I'm a narcissist.
All right. Ooh, this is not very exciting so far in terms of the split. Next up is Kevin Spear versus Ryan Birch. So let me take a stab at Kevin's list.
I'll take Ryan.
Brotherhood.
Kevin is Brotherhood, but first he has a little allied contingent here. He's got a unit of Rordia Iron Guard
Honor guard.
Honor guard. Sorry.
Honor guard.
And a Baron on a horse. So they're inspired. Then we have for the Brotherhood, he's got a horde of water elementals.
That Baron on a horse is amazing. Holy crap! It's 70 points for very inspiring with 4 attacks hitting on 3s.
His nerve's a little lower than the Elf Prince.
And his speed is considerably slower.
That's right. That Elf Prince is
the inspiring though is so good because you have the utility of the standard bearer along with having the benefits of those attacks.
Jake, he's 10 more points. Don't exaggerate it, okay?
So much better.
I like that Baron.
All right. For Brotherhood, he's got a horde of water elementals with diadem of dragonkinds, a regiment of Order of Redemption with the Brew of Strength. That's the one with regeneration. One regiment of Order of the Forsaken with Helm of Confidence. 1 horde of Order of the Forsaken with Caterpillar. 2 Villain Siege
Villain
Siege Artillery. 2 of them.
VN.
A Forsaken Beast with Breath Attack. 1 Devoted with Surge and Inspiring Talisman. And an Exemplar Forsaker with Pipes of Terror.
So his water elementals breathe fire.
Yeah. No, they have a fire hose. Yeah. They just splash you with high pressure water.
So if he had Surge in this list, I could see the point of the elementals with the Diadem of Dragonkind because you can double tap something, but there's no Surge.
There is. The Devoted has Surge 5.
Oh, it was an upgrade. Surge 5. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't like that there's no Order of the Brotherhood. I don't like the Regiment of Forsaken. I think an Order of the Brotherhood Regiment would be better than the Order of Forsaken Regiment.
I don't know the difference. I'll be honest.
The Regiment of the Brotherhood is like your base knights, but it's 16 attacks hitting on 3s with Thunderous 2. And I think they're slightly cheaper than the Regiment of the Forsaken. And they still have... They either have Headstrong or Fury. The Valiant on these units is really, really good if you take the Peasant Knight units because it boosts their nerve.
Right, but he didn't do it, did he?
No. And they're really good chaff to bump in. The Forsaken Beast can take in Snare, which I would almost rather have in this style of a list than Breath, because then you can pop it in front of something and hold it up so that your knights can sweep around. The Honor Guard, I think, are a nice addition to Brotherhood. I agree the Water Elementals, I think, are just going to get left in the dust by the rest of the list.
It's kind of how I feel, yeah.
So I've played several games against Kevin using that list, and he plays it much cagier than you might expect. And those things end up staying in line with one another. And it might just be the fact that he was playing against my army, which out-maneuvered him. But it presents a pretty difficult front to get through.
So I don't like the Order of the Redemption because you're paying extra points basically because they're inspiring and regenerating, but they're knights. So it's almost, you could take 2 regiments of regular knights for almost the same cost that have the same impact, -4, because it's still hitting on 3s, still Thunderous 2. And there's one major thing that's not in this list that I think is pretty... There's no loot of Insatiable Darkness for Banechant, which is so good with the Brotherhood. I don't know why it's not on the... Even the Devote... I mean, the Devoted needs the Inspiring Talisman, but like the Pipes of Terror on the Forsaker could have been a loot of Insatiable Darkness. I don't... it's still not great because you don't want that guy Banechanting, but Banechant makes those knights so good.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't seen Kevin play Kings of War, but those are sort of some of the holes I see.
Kevin's rather good.
He's good, yeah.
I've seen him do well in tournaments I haven't been at. So, wow. Well, because he's never played at a tournament where I'm there.
Okay, I got his opponent Ryan. He's got Force of Nature. Now I saw this list at Crossroads. And I had to double take because it's so small. And then I was like, mentally in my head, I was like, no, yeah, that's 2,000 points. So he's got a horde of salamanders with the Scrying Gem, 2 hordes of water elementals, 2 winged unicorns with lightning bolt 5. The green lady. 3 beasts of nature with lightning bolt 6, flying speed 10, vicious, and increase attacks to 7.
20.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
So he's got
ouch
10 plus 21. He's got 31 lightning. Oh no, I'm sorry. Those are 6, not 7. He's got 18. He's got 28 lightning, and he has 14 plus 8, 22 heal.
Jeez.
And his 3 combat units, 2 of them have regen 5, which, supported by all that heal, is pretty cool.
He's got some big staying power between 3 hordes of stuff.
Right, but he's going to be. It's hard to protect those units.
True.
Yeah, because everything.
Because you have so few things. You know, you can easily be flanked.
Right.
But
he's got 5 monsters that do stuff.
They do
protect his flanks
do
with,
stuff.
Right?
You're right. There are no slouches in combat, especially when you pair them up.
I
They're
see
expensive.
Between the Beasts of Nature and the Winged Unicorn, I think he's going to nullify probably the Horde of Order of the Redemption, the Pagan Knights, whatever they're called. They're not Redemption. Yeah. Yep, the Pagan Knights. And once the Forsaken are gone, I think that Kevin's going to have a hard time hitting these. If his siege artillery can pop off maybe Winged Unicorn, might make a difference because it takes some of that heal off the board. But the problem is none of these monsters are going to die unless if you pop them in one turn.
Yeah.
Right. And he's got 28 lightning bolt.
Yep. Now cover could make a big difference.
Sure.
If you have some force.
But if the idea here is I mean 28 lightning bolt, even if he puts 4 things into something or 3, 18 lightning bolt,
and it's all
is as good as a horde of shooters,
right?
Because of the piercing, right? And the 24-inch range. So he
Plus
can just take those 3 and be like,
I'm going to on all of it.
Right.
Height.
So he just goes in a spot and he shoots
height,
something off.
3.
I mean, this is pretty much Aaron Chapman's Masters list, with the water elementals instead of a horde of salamanders and something else. But it's basically the same thing. It's as much lightning and heal into the list as possible. And basically the job of everything else is to slow people down so the lightning can keep lightning.
Right.
And the thing is the Beasts of Nature and the Winged Unicorns can pick up objectives.
Right.
That is the thing that I don't like about the list, because I played against Brian Ring, who was running Force of Nature that were not this spammy, but kind of the similar vein. There were 2 Winged Unicorns and 2 Beasts of Nature. And we played in the pillage scenario where those Winged Unicorns and Beasts of Nature are amazing because they can pick up the objectives because they are a scoring unit.
Right.
And they can zip all across the board so they can get where they need to be, and they can be casting lightning on you along the way. So scenario is going to play an impact, but I think just based on strengths of the lists, I'm going to go with Ryan.
Now, what's the experience level of Ryan versus Kevin? Because I know Kevin has placed fairly high at a couple of GTs in the Northeast. Has Ryan played much, or?
He went to Crossroads, but and Unplugged GT. But beyond that, I'm not sure how often he plays.
Okay.
But I mean, that's 2 GTs in the past 6 months. So.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see Kevin having the tools to take on the Forces of Nature list. I might be wrong, but I just think that lightning bolt's so scary, and the thing that lightning bolt is scared of is something that can reach out and touch it fast or do unexpected charges, and the Brotherhood list that's there doesn't have the nerve to walk through it, and it doesn't have the either surge or amount of flying or speed, I think, to
I just want to put this out there though that that amount of lightning bolt on average, if it shoots at one of these night units and tries to just take it off, it only does 7 damage.
7 damage, you say?
Yep.
It needs to roll a 10. Inspired
True.
to get it off. So I mean, it's not a 1-turn takeoff of any of those units.
That's true.
No, but it's very hard for him to pin those units down.
So theoretically, if Kevin moves forward aggressively,
he does 7 damage. Then Kevin advances. Then the Beast of Nature should just charge the weakened unit and take it off.
No, and that's okay though.
You know what I
The
mean?
Beast of Nature have to charge and not do the lightning bolts, and then they get countercharged. They're neutralized as well.
Right,
So
and the Beasts of Nature are much more expensive.
Like
you know what, John? You've won me over. I'm voting for Kevin because I like Kevin's list better than this one.
Okay, we've got
really
sides of the.
Well, not because I think Kevin's list is better than this one, but because I like it better. Does that make sense?
That's fine.
Really?
I don't like this style of lightning bolt, sit behind a wall and jump around and hope you win. I don't think it doesn't lead to fun games for either person, personally.
Jake, have you liked any of the lists so far tonight?
He loves mine,
Yep, I like his.
which means he's
Mike.
totally wrong.
So Greg, you're saying you would like to face the style forces of nature.
I did not say that. I said I think it's going to win the game. I'm just saying, you're like, well, I like Kevin's list more when you were just like, there's 3 or 4 things in this list that I think are bad.
I like Kevin's list
and I would
more.
change if I was making the list, but you know.
I like Kevin's list more in the sense that I like it better for what it like. I'd rather play Kevin's list against Kevin's list. I don't want to see the forces of nature, stuff like this. I don't know.
You know, I do have to say that I'm looking at Kevin's list, and I've had the opportunity to see him play. He is pretty disciplined. He plays not to like I play to get into combat turn 2. He plays to get into combat turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Whoa, hold on.
What?
Tournaments at the portal. Kevin Spear has a history at the portal. This might put him on tilt. He might not play as well as you're expecting.
Why is that?
He was reprimanded for being too loud.
Too rowdy.
Really?
That's right.
Really? Yes.
Quiet down.
So he may be a little self-conscious. He might not be given 100% of his focus because he's worried.
True story.
I'm going with Kevin.
All right.
I'm going with Kevin Spear because he has multiple flyers. He has siege artillery that can start picking stuff off turn 1. And I think that he's got a couple breath attacks in here. So in the scrum, I think he's going to be fine.
I think if Kevin can play a tight game,
right,
he has a chance. Ryan really there's not anything necessarily Ryan can do to counter Kevin playing well. Either Ryan's going to take stuff off with his lightning bolts or he's not, and if he doesn't, he loses the game. There's no other alternative plan with I think the force of nature list. So,
all right, Greg, what's your go on this?
I'm still going with Ryan. I think if he doesn't take the units off with lightning, they'll be weakened, and then he'll take them out in combat.
All right, let's keep plugging through here because we're about halfway through and we got to make up some time.
Yeah.
So,
ooh,
matchup is going to be Peyton Shipman versus Bart Kohler.
I got Peyton's list. It's the Crossroads list, right?
Yep.
That's the one.
I wonder where he took it before. We've got a troop of halfling scouts with the healing brew, 2 troops of crossbow blocks, 1 with the piercing arrow, a regiment of the dogs of war with the brew's strength, 2 regiments of household knights, 1 with the push and the caterpillar, 1 with the blood of the old king, a horde of honor guard with the brew of haste,
as you do,
a halfling volley gun, a halfling iron beast, Duke that's on a mount with the diadem of dragonkind, Duke on ancient winged arrowles with blessing the gods, and then a wizard with bane chant, lightning bolt, a mount, and the inspiring talisman.
Who is scratching their beard?
It's me,
Mike.
It's so
He's
loud.
giving some flavor text to it. This is basically the list Peyton has been playing since Kings of War was a thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of why he doesn't go to as many events.
Right. Because I was like, this seems like the list I played at Unplugged 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think he used to take Kaba's holy hand grenades instead of the diadem of dragonkind.
Hasn't changed too much though.
No.
The Dogs of War are new.
He took them against me. Yeah,
Dogs were great.
they're good.
Yeah.
They're a solid unit. Defense 5 with
He's got some
ensnare.
stuff going on here. He's got a
Little bit of shooting.
The Halfling Iron Beast is just a tank. He's got a couple of cab units similar to Rossi's list.
I mean, most importantly, Peyton plays a really tight game, and he knows how these units work.
His list is not as fine-tuned as it could be, but it's got enough tools that with his experience and style of play, he does just fine every time.
And he knows exactly what everything in this list does. It's not like this is like a experimental thing he popped up with.
Right. And more importantly, he knows what it can take.
Right.
Right. So I mean, he's never been nervous about me charging this or that. He's like, "Yep, go ahead."
Or he's like, "Nope, it's dead." Yep.
Right.
All right. Then we got Bart's list here. He's taking elves, so we got a couple of elf units going on here. Elf armies here. He's got a horde of archers with a heart-seeking chant. We've seen that before. 3 regiments of palace guard, 1 with a dwarven ale. So this is interesting. A lot of times we see these in troops, but these are regiments. He's got a horde of tall spears with hammer and measured force. For not a bad unit, that's a
cool.
good use of it.
Yeah.
A regiment of stormwind cav with a caterpillar, 2 bolt throwers, 1 dragon breath, an army battle standard bearer.
Banner the Griffin. Yes, finally a Banner the Griffin.
On a horse.
I took one.
I took one too. Shut up, Jake.
Wow.
I don't count the people on the cast with me, all right?
And he's got an elven mage with fireball on a horse, blood boil, and inspiring. A master hunter with a sparkstone. That's interesting. And a dragon.
No, he has 3 attacks. Jake hates him.
Why would you take Sparkstone? I guess because you're going to Vanguard up and you can Sparkstone early.
You can get in range.
Right.
The Master Hunter is kind of cool because it can shoot, but I still don't think it's good.
It's a little
He's speed 7.
90 points is a little bit expensive.
It is, yeah.
But he's shots with piercing 1. It's not bad. Adding the Sparkstone is an interesting play.
Yep.
So the Kindred Tall Spears with Hammer and Measured Force, that's a pretty good use for a unit that otherwise doesn't.
I think that unit will give Peyton some trouble too. Because the only thing that I think the Kindred Tall Spears are scared of in Peyton's list is the Honor Guard, which everything's scared of.
Right.
But the Hammer and Measured Force basically means in the grind with Elite and 30 attacks, they can beat, I think, most of Peyton's units one-on-one in a grind. Hopefully Peyton doesn't get in that, but with 3 regiments of Palace Guard, there's a decent amount of support for his line.
I really like the 3 regiments of Palace Guard.
Palace Guard are really good.
That's nice.
Me too.
And I think, Stormwind Cavalry are just better than Peyton's Cavalry.
Yeah.
And they have the speed advantage, so the Stormwind Cavalry can end up being pretty good in this matchup too.
I gotta give props to this elf list to not have a horde of Drakon riders too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's nice to see.
Not spamming dragon breaths. It only has 1 blood boil, and I'll give it a pass for not taking Drakon riders.
That being said, I think Peyton's going to win.
Yeah,
Bart's list gets the ever elusive Jake Hutton seal of approval.
Seriously.
I've got to be the bad cop on this, all right? Because you guys are all like, yeah, I like it. It's kind of cool. It's kind of different. And I got to be the guy be like, no, it sucks. I'm going to be the Jack Swan of this live cast.
Sure. I like Bart's list. I got to go with Peyton because he's my roommate and he's got the experience and the consistent play. I've never played against Bart. I've seen him at events. I know he's done fairly well here and there. He was the
he's been going to more events.
Complete hobbyist.
Right.
Yep.
But my gut's telling me to go with Peyton.
With Bart there, my chance of winning Best Sports is gone. So that's always good for Peyton too. Right? Play a good
I mean, if anyone watches this live recording, they're not going to vote sports for you.
Exactly. A raging a-hole. Right?
I got to say, so if Peyton wasn't using his list, if it was another person and the matchup was against Bart, I think Bart's list has some edges versus Peyton's list. But I've seen Peyton use his list. He knows what he's doing. I got to go Peyton as well.
Right.
I would take Peyton in this match too. All right. Next matchup is Eric Rutens, I guess how to pronounce it, versus Brian Ring.
I'll take Eric's list.
All right, and that means I've got Brian's list, right?
He's got dwarfs. and there's dwarves in it, so that's interesting.
I'm a big fan.
A horde of Ironclad with the Brew of Haste. A regiment of Iron Guard with the Brew of Courage. I love the Iron Guard. So good.
Yep.
Horde of Earth Elementals with Brew of Strength. Regiment of the Brock Riders with Orcsbane's Amulet of Thorns, which I think gives them phalanx. Gives them phalanx.
Oh.
3 Iron Belcher Organ Guns. That's a new choice. Army Standard Bearer with the Banner of the Griffin. A Stone Priest with Weakness. Yes. A Warsmith. A Battle Driller. Love the Battle Driller.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Greater Earth Elemental. And Yield Mike Rossi stand by. The Allied Elohi.
2 regiments.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Any?
I like this list.
I want to play the part of Jake Hutton here. Why a Warsmith? Why ever a Warsmith?
Why phalanx on the Brock Riders?
Ever a what? You know what? I think what he's thinking is he can stick it into a. He can put it in front of a unit of Elf Knights, for example, and be like, send it,
But
right? And then I'll countercharge, and that's the end of that.
Just give them Pathfinder.
Besides that, I have no idea.
Just give them Pathfinder. Stick them in the woods. It does the same thing.
No, because everything else out there is Pathfinder.
True.
Not units that have Pathfinder.
True.
Right.
I don't know. It seems like you're wanting your unit that you want to charge to sit back and be charged and counter charge. I don't know.
Yes, I don't get it. I do like the Brew of Haste on the Horde of Ironclad because that means it can actually charge things that are as wide as the frontage of the unit.
Yep.
Which is very important, right?
It's pretty good.
Yep.
Regiment Iron Guard with Brew of Courage are actually pretty tough.
No, that's hot to try. Combined with the Banner of the Griffin, they're sticking around at 17, 19.
That are as wide as the width of the unit?
Dwarf units can't charge to things that are slightly to the side of them because their leader point doesn't. Reach. Yep.
Gotcha.
There it is.
Yeah. That's the problem.
It's crazy.
I know you're like, why the Warsmith? The thing is, against some armies, you can get away with putting your Iron Belcher organ guns all next to each other with the Warsmith.
It gives them elite, right? Yep.
It gives them all elite. In some matchups, you can get away with doing that without auto losing that, ballista that you created, and it becomes very scary.
Very scary. That's true.
So generally, it's probably not worth it, but in some matchups, you can really press that advantage with it, and it can be pretty dirty.
He's going to put these organ guns together and
I
blast you, 45 times with the elite.
I think you take another War Machine no matter what. But if he's constrained by models, that's another thing too, right? Because we agree the cannon is not worth taking and the stone thrower isn't worth taking. This is the only. It's that or the breath weapon. Right. So,
yeah, I'd probably just make it another battle driller.
Is there only one? Is there only no? There's 2 inspiring sources. Okay.
Yeah. Eric came in 3rd at the last year's Unplugged GT, I think.
Yes, he did, and he's a good dude.
So he's a good. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
So he's going to get worse.
Who's he facing?
He is facing Brian Ring, and Brian is using a herd list.
Oh.
So we've got 2 hordes of Lycans, one with Helm of the Ram, one with Brew of Strength, bringing some pain with them. That's my joke. 3 Beast Pack troops, 2 Stampedes, one with Blessing the Gods and one with Blood of the Old King, 2 Chimeras, both with wings, a Tribal Totem Bearer with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, and a Lycan Alpha.
Wow.
So there's a lot of speed and a lot of hitting.
Coming at you.
Coming at you.
Yep.
Wow.
But the dwarf list does have the boost of if he wants to cast all the organ guns together,
I don't know. This list is punchy.
Pretty punchy. It's got the beast packs to chaff up where it needs to, and it's facing dwarves, so it won't even need to use the chaff.
Right. They can do something else.
and there's nothing with Pathfinder in the dwarf list except the golems.
This is a nightmare matchup for Eric.
Yeah. It's not a good.
Right. This is the one thing that he did not want to see is, oh, by turn 2, you've removed half my crap. By turn 4, I've lost everything. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not good.
It's not a good match.
I got to say, as an undead player, I am supremely jealous of the Lycan Alpha.
Right. I tell that too.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Lycans themselves are so good. Built-in Pathfinder,
the defense is lower, but they have the regen.
It's totally worth it for the built-in Pathfinder.
Nice.
It's real good.
I don't complain because werewolves, I think, are still good.
Yep.
And Lycanus, I think, still has its uses. But the Lycan Alpha, if I could take that, I would take that.
Yeah, and I mean, he has Bane Chant backing up the list, but there's almost nothing in the list that needs the Bane Chant. Like, the Lycans can benefit from it some.
Well, maybe the Beast Packs.
You got me there. And the Chimeras are scary. I mean,
they're very good.
Yes. Vicious with 7 attacks and crushing 2.
And they're flyers with Pathfinder.
Yep.
Right.
This is a nightmare matchup for Eric because Eric took actual dwarves. He doesn't have enough Brock Riders to lose 1 and then countercharge with 2 to remove something. He doesn't have the Brock Lord with the Giant Slayer Blade. Like, he doesn't have the tools that I'd want with a dwarf list to take on this kind of speed. He doesn't have enough. The only thing that could be cool is if his defense 6 regiment and his horde stand up to something unexpectedly, but I don't see it happening.
The horde is
then they're not going to do enough damage in the counterpunch to deal with the problem.
Right. They'll go in, they'll hit 12 times, they'll do 5 wounds. 2 fistfuls of who cares.
So Josh has pointed out that the Stampedes are TC3 while CS1, so the Bane Chant does help the Stampedes.
Yeah,
but I don't...
When they go into the Brock Riders with Phalanx, they're screwed.
The Stampede only need the 1 crushing for the Brock Rider.
Right. Gets
John was
3 calls it a day.
being facetious.
Only a little.
Yeah, I've got to...
I like this herd list.
I do too.
A lot.
Good. Yep.
You heard a lot of votes for Brian on this one.
It does what it does very well. It just runs up and punches you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Here's somebody who's waiting patiently for this one. We got Josh Rosado versus Rosebud.
I'll take Josh's list. Unless you guys want to. I mean, we can mix up who's, because I feel like Jake and I have been talking together.
Sure. I'll hit Josh's list then.
All right.
So Josh is running Forces of Nature, and he's got a horde of Naiad Ensnarers, 2 hordes of Elementals. One of them is Earth Elementals with a Healing Brew, which is good, and one's Fire Elementals with a Brew of Sharpness.
Also good.
2 regiments of Centaur Braced Riders, Centaur Chief with a Brew of Haste, a Druid with Bane Chant, Surge, and Banner of the Griffin, Winged Unicorn with Lightning Bolt, Naked Pegasus, and 2 Beasts of Nature with Lightning Bolt, Fly, and Vicious. And
that's a cool, nice, balanced list. I like it.
Yeah,
I like a little bit of everything.
It's got a good amount of different stuff.
The Centaur Braced Riders, I like. I think Greg and I, you and I have talked about this. We really like the 12 attacks need to be boosted up to 16, but I think they're still good.
But they're only a 155.
Right, and they do have Pathfinder, which is very good.
I like them. I'm going to give a little shout out to Josh. After I went on to Countercharge and talked about Force of Nature, he reached out with an email, gave me some advice, because he said in the list had a lot of similar elements to the one I was kicking around. And he sent his list in, you could see it does. I think there's some cool choices in here. I've toyed with the idea of throwing in a Pegasus or 2. Again, it's that thing that Jake hates, the 3-attack character. But it basically is your choice for chaff in this army. And Force of Nature don't really have chaff. Unless you want to put allies in. You got that guy, and then you've got the tree dude. I can't think of what he's called.
The guy who's Vanguard, who's worse than the Pegasus. Yep.
No, you don't do that.
Less expensive, but he's not as good.
makes no sense. Yeah. So I think this list is
like
good.
This
it's
list.
a nice variety of stuff.
Yep.
I do too. I'm a fan of this list.
The Beast of Nature hit a little bit with the unicorns, and then you have enough hitting power that once you get into combat, you can still grind it out. You still got some threats. Brew of Sharpness on the fire.
He doesn't have the same amount of lightning as like Ryan's list, but he still has lightning.
It's enough that it's threatening,
and it's enough,
but
it's backed up with more combat units.
Brew of Sharpness on the Fire Elemental Horde, I think, is very cool.
It's hot.
Yeah.
I did not mean that. That came out stupid.
No, you didn't mean it.
Nope, I like this list.
All right,
and
so
he's playing against
Undead.
Ooh.
You want me to read this one?
Yeah, sure,
Done.
go ahead.
He's got a regiment of skeleton warriors with the war bow of Kaba.
Look out.
He has a horde of revenants where he exchanges his shields for two-hand weapons, but he also has the dragon shard shield. Interesting. He's got a regiment of mummies with the banner of the griffin, because you should. He's got a horde of werewolves with the brew of strength. He's got a regiment of soul reaver cavalry with the potion of the caterpillar, because that's how they come.
Mm-hmm.
He has a revenant king on undead worm with a brew of sharpness.
And the flying upgrade.
And flying upgrade on the thing. Ooh, he's everywhere. He's got a necromancer with Bane Chant 2 and the inspiring talisman. And he's got some night stalkers. He has a regiment of specters, a troop of shadow hounds, and a mind screech.
So basically, he's taking the Night Stalkers for the Mind Screech, it looks like.
Well, he's
got some shooting there, dude.
Yeah.
He's got the firebolt with the specters.
It's just
and he
shooting.
uses undead models for this stuff. So he has like the specters are all like banshee models.
Okay, so it's like more thematic reasons.
And the shadow hounds are like the wolves.
The Revenant King, I think, plus one speed on the Revenant King is better than Brew of Sharpness.
I don't think there's enough attacks on the Revenant King to really
make that worthwhile. Yep.
And he also, I mean, I get it because hitting on threes is definitely better than
for sure.
But you're not necessarily taking that character because he's gonna pump out a lot of damage in combat.
You're taking him as an aggressive wall.
Yeah, he's a guy who doesn't have a breath weapon. A lot of those monster guys have an alternative attack.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have given him a breath weapon.
Well, I guess you could give him a breath weapon too. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing if you give him +1 movement too, because he has Surge, is you can fly 11, pivot
and
twice,
surge.
and Surge. And even though that 1 inch doesn't seem like it matters, there's been so many times that you were like 1 inch short to get that perfect rear surge with some sort of unit. This is a cool undead list. The Dragon Shard Shield is one of those things that I don't like. But I see what he's trying to do with the Revenants. He's going to pop it, then surge in, and be a wall. And it's kind of cool.
A very effective wall.
Yep, for 1 turn.
Right.
Yep, it's cool. Mummies are awesome. The werewolves are threatening. The Revenant Cav are threatening. The main thing with the undead list is the Shadowhounds are really the only chaff.
I don't know. That regiment of skeleton warriors is pretty worthless too.
But they're
not mobile.
Or something.
Yeah, you can't get them in the way.
No,
it's that unit does table quarter work, and that's what it does.
Or it holds a flank, like you sit it on the flank and then have it protect your casters while it slowly advances with your line.
It's fine.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's nothing special, but it's fine.
I think I'm going to be going with Josh in this one. He's got a wider range of tools to deal with threats. That Lightning Bolt means he can target out that Necromancer pretty early on. And
then Nick's left with only 1 inspiring source.
And 1 surge source, which makes the Revenants, the Mummy. Well, I guess he doesn't need the surge the way the list is built,
really.
But the 1
Revenant
inspiring,
King, the Soul Reavers, still going to work. Werewolves do work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he's got enough stuff. He can still get around.
But I don't. The only thing that I think Josh really needs to be scared of is the Soul Reavers, because the werewolves with Crushing 2 are going to have a hard time against one horde of the elementals to pop them in one go. Maybe the fire elementals, they could do it.
Fire elementals, they could pop.
Yeah.
But
And to be honest, the werewolves are fast because of the nimble and everything else. He doesn't have to choose either of those if he doesn't want it.
It's true. It's
He
true.
can just go rampaging through some other crap.
Right.
But you also have to realize that there's enough lightning, I think, on the other end of the field that the emphasis is going to be on the undead making quick attacks to try to get some points early. Because the longer things are drawn out, the better nature it's liking it, I think.
I agree with you.
It's 8.5 hits per turn. It's not that much lightning.
Dude, as someone who plays undead, you take the necromancer away, it removes your maneuverability. The soul reavers, you just need to luckily waver them once and they're out of the game, because then they just perpetually waver. There's no heal in the list. So you get enough wounds to get with a 7 of waver. If you get slightly lucky, you're right. It's not something. But with the potential.
The only things that really make the naturalists concerned are the werewolves and the soul reaver cavalry.
Right.
And
Yeah, they don't care about anything else.
Mm-mm.
the other units aren't going to do that much damage, and those, like you said, Jake, they can be wavered without that much effort, and like a larger number of quality units that can, where he needs to put pressure.
Right.
Nick does have a little bit of shooting, but the shooting from the naturalist is better.
And the naturalist has quite a bit of heal.
Yeah, it does.
I think Josh is going to be in good shape in this matchup, but it could also.
A beast of nature can charge a werewolf.
If, like you said, if the undead get those good charges early on and it roll well, then things could
roll up,
could flip pretty easily.
See, I'm looking at this list, and I don't think that the Revenant King on Undead Worm is the thing that he should go for. If I were him, just to piggyback on the idea, he's got 2 sources of inspiring. Well, he's got the one source of inspiring and the other one with the inspiring talisman. You take that necromancer.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's what we were saying. Where were you?
Right. Okay.
Yep.
But
because it's defense 4, 3's to wound.
10, 12.
See, and at that stage of the game, 8 lightning bolt does the job.
Right.
Oh yeah.
8 hits with lightning bolt does the job. There's no such thing as saying.
Yeah, but that's hitting on 4s. He's going to hit on 5s, but it still does the job.
Yeah, it's 10-12, dude.
It's threatening enough that you can't just ignore it. Because 2 turns of that will probably peel your necromancer off, and the problem is you're not going to be able to hide him because your lightning bolt is height 3. There's nothing in the list that can block it.
Right. You can't hide him behind anything except for the Revenant King. You just
behind him. Cover.
You put him behind cover and then he's hitting on 5s, so it's not great. He still peels off the necromancer. I agree.
Yeah.
And the problem is once the necromancer's gone, you can't have the Revenant King. The Revenant King kind of wants to be around to inspire, but he also needs to play aggressive to make that brew of sharpness worth it. So he's probably going alongside the werewolves and the soul reavers. That's what I'm guessing.
That said, if that necromancer is sitting behind the revenants and the mummies or whatever, and he wants to get in range to do that lightning bolt, it's 24-inch range. That means he's going to be eating a charge from a Revenant King on Undead Worm, potentially soul reavers, definitely werewolves. So it's not like it's a freebie just because you have lightning bolts, you get to zap whatever you want.
The Revenant King on Undead Worm isn't going to pop any of the lightning bolters.
It doesn't have to.
But the problem is you charge the lightning bolters with the Revenant King, and the forces of nature hit the Revenant King. The Revenant King dies, and the undead tries to countercharge. But the problem is undead doesn't have the enough threats to do that give and go of threats compared to the forces of nature. I think that's how I sort of read the matchup. I see there's some tactical stuff the undead could do, but I got to give it to Josh on this one.
I do too.
I'm going with Josh on this one mainly because I know Nick is a new dad and he hasn't played at all, I promise. So, and Josh has been beating this list up. So, from a pure list aside, from a pure experience perspective, put Josh on this one. All right, next matchup we got Tony,
What's
the man
his list
with the
called?
grudge, versus Chris Murphy. It's Salamanders.
What's it called?
Yeah.
I don't think it's on here.
Interesting.
That's because it isn't. There we go.
Okay,
I'll pull up the other person's list and start reading it while we figure out where Tony's list is. Chris
It's not
Murphy.
here.
It's not here?
I think he sent it straight to Jim, so I don't even have it.
Tony's taken some really cool stuff. He's a very funny guy.
Mhm.
And he's taking salamanders. He usually has 3 of those breath weapon
guys. And then probably one of the breath weapon flying guys. That's a character.
No, those are the ones he has 3 of.
Let's do the next
right.
and I'll see if I can get you a list.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, let's.
So Scott Craig, I'll find his list.
I'll take Scott.
Captain Planet.
Yep. He's got a fun themed list here.
Love this list.
And actually, it makes me wish that the restrictions from Clash of Kings would be a little more flexible, and you'll see why in a moment.
Yeah.
So he has 4 hordes of elementals, 1 of each variety. The Earth elementals have the Brew of Haste. The Fire elementals have the Blade of Slashing. The Air elementals have the Helm of Confidence. And the Water elementals don't get a magical artifact.
Because water is lame.
Then he has 1, 2, 3 druids. And they are...
wild companions.
Yeah. 2 of the druids have Bane Chant 2, Surge 7, Wild
all
Companion.
3 of them have Bane Chant.
Will you listen? And then one of them has Bane Chant 2, Wild Companion.
Sorry.
So the difference is the Surge is only on 2, not all 3. And the Wild Companions are cool because they are also themed like the elementals. When you look at them, he has little models to represent. Then he has 3 greater elementals, Earth, Fire, and Water.
And a tree herder.
Instead of a 4th greater elemental, because you can't under Clash of Kings, even though they're different flavors, they're still the same monster entry. He has a tree herder instead. So the tree herder kind of takes the place of the greater air elemental. But there you go. That's the list.
It's cool. I like the theme.
It is cool.
And he is playing K2, whose list I will pull up. So we've got 2 regiments. Is he playing all orc? He's playing orcs with goblin allies. So we've got 2 regiments.
I just got Tony's list. We'll do it later.
2 regiments of Fleabag Rider Sniffs, which are the bow guys.
This is
the King on the Chariot.
The Orc Town list.
Yeah.
The King on the Chariot, Goblin King on Chariot. We get that reaches us.
As you do.
2 hordes of Orc Axes, 1 with the Helm of Confidence. 2 regiments of Gore Riders, 1 with Brew of Haste and 1 with Mace of Crushing. A Crudger with the Goblin Sneaky Stabber. It's mounted on a Gore and has the Blade of Slashing. A Flagger, 2 Giants, and 2 War Drums.
Orc Town.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the Sniffs.
Sniffs are good. Yeah.
And they allow them to, it adds a certain something to the list.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. The only thing is I'd like to see an item on the Flagger.
Right.
You could
points for it. It's all good.
Yeah.
I played against this list. Almost. It was 1,500 points, but it was basically the same thing. He had a couple.
Right.
He had the Goblin allies. I played against this a couple weeks ago, and a couple of giants sneak up on you. The Gore Riders.
Giants are pretty decent.
No, giants are very good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that's gonna give Scott some trouble is that the 2 hordes of axe and the 2 giants backed up with the war drums.
Nerve.
They're not going anywhere.
No.
That is an impressive nerve. And the elementals, while they are cool, they all hit on 4s.
Right.
They're not that great.
And so in the grind, the orcs come out on top.
Right. I mean, and depending on how K2 does his line, there isn't going to be any room for those greater elementals to get surge shenanigans. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
because his units take up a lot of space.
Yeah.
K2 also has the King on Chariot, which is the first step in any plan to win a game. So
the Sniffs can get around the flanks and really target those druids, which will take even more of the maneuverability away from the elemental list too.
Right.
Because you don't want to use the Sniff shooting like the elemental hordes. It's like spitting into a rock wall.
No, there's no reason. Right. Seriously.
Yep, I gotta give it to K2. I don't. So Goblin Town, what is this theme?
Orktown, dude.
Orktown?
It's Orktown.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't go to Goblin Town. What is this, The
these
Hobbit?
memes all over the internet that are Matka, make Orktown great again.
Nope.
And he's got this. His main character's name is Skullface, so he puts a picture of Skullface in these memes with Matka. It's funny.
That's awesome.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
I
want to root for Scott, but the nerve and the giants and
The nerve
you know what I
of
mean?
that man.
No, I'll tell you,
Hordes of
it's-
elementals.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I
agree.
gotta go
I think
with
it's a-
I gotta
it's a
go with
tough
I gotta
call.
go with Orktown.
Other lists would have a much better time popping this orc army, but
Yeah.
that elemental list is gonna have a tough time with it.
Yep.
I'm not scared of it, but I can
All
see
right.
the elementalist would have an issue.
Do we want to go back and just hit this last one? Greg Anderson versus the
Yep.
Ringer.
Oh, sure. I think I'm the only one with the Ringer army
Okay.
I got the
because it
Ringer.
wasn't. So I'm the Ringer on Sunday, and our friend Pat is the Ringer on Saturday.
Yeah.
So Pat sent his list in a little group chat with me and Jim.
I've got it.
He-
Right? It's in the.
Oh, you do have it.
It's in the folder. Yeah.
It's not in the folder.
Again,
I'm
technical.
going to go over it because I have got it here.
I can read Greg's list while we're getting ready for the Ringer list, I guess.
And this is not me, Greg. This is a different Greg.
Yep.
You're following along at home.
So
So Pat's got elves.
yeah, go ahead. Okay, sorry, I misunderstood. Yep, go ahead.
He's got 2 hordes of kindred archers. One has the heart-seeking chant. One has the wine of elven kind.
Good start.
Yeah.
Jess, don't wash your hands in there. Wash your hands in the kitchen sink. It's leaking.
Yeah, Jess.
Darn it, I thought I turned my mic off.
Jess doesn't wash her hands after she pees. Okay, a troop of Stormwind cavalry. 2 regiments of Stormwind cavalry. One is the Potion of the Caterpillar. One is Brew of Strength. 2 bolt throwers. Army standard bearer. Elven mage with fireball mounted on a horse. Dragon kindred lord with the amulet of the Fireheart. Oh, he changed that because he didn't know what magic items do.
Crushing.
So yeah, he changed that out. And a Draken Rider Lord.
And
We
then
had this nice discussion. He said, "You sure you want your Dragon Lord to have the Fireheart amulet? It doesn't let you use Dragon Breath twice." And he said, "I have no idea what it does, but it costs 10 points, and I only had 10 points left." So he switched it out to Mace of Crushing after I showed him where to see the magical artifact descriptions on each
Right.
army.
So this list, listen, it's a bunch of shooting. It's a bunch of fast stuff that hits hard. It's just those 2 things, actually.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So, I mean, that's a win as far as elves go. You shoot stuff, and then you charge other things with your fast stuff. So it's solid.
It is Pat playing it as the Ringer, and Pat has played maybe 5 games of.
Right.
Yeah. So wouldn't put too much stock in the playability there. But the list is fine. Like, it's not super optimized or anything, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's facing Greg, who's using a Salamander's list called the Song of Scales, which I like.
He has the best name for an army.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait till you.
So he's got
Building it up.
a horde of Salamander Primes with the Brew of Sharpness, a troop of Ancients, a regiment of Ancients,
Yeah, the ancients are great.
a regiment of Kaizenor Lancers with the Brew of Strength, a horde of Ancients on Rhinosaurs with Brew of Haste,
That's really good.
Fire Drake,
Bruto.
which is the monster breath weapon,
Yep.
a Herald with the Loot of Insatiable Darkness, a Clan Lord on Fire Drake,
2 fire drakes.
and then he allied in Trident Realms. He put in a horde of Naiad Worm Riders, which are an awesome allied choice,
Yes.
and a Coral Giant, which
Ooh.
I like this list.
I just wish there was inspiring for those things, but
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's
But
fun
to be
play
fair, the
there.
Worm Riders, they want to hit something, but they die pretty fast.
I like this list a lot. The only thing I'm not really keen on
Digging.
is the troop of ancients.
I also think Pathfinder on either the Ancients on Rhinosaurs or the Kaizenor Lancers would be better spent than the items that are currently on them.
Sure.
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a cool list. The Clanlore on Fire Drake does not have flying.
No.
Oh, really?
No, save some points there.
You can upgrade them to fly?
Yeah. He's speed 7.
Still pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, I think this is a pretty cool Salamander list.
I love the Trident Realm allies.
Mm-hmm.
It helps a lot.
Super cool.
I think. And like I said, and like you guys said, I just wish there was a BSB in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Just to run around.
The Naiad Worm Riders give him some Pathfinder Cav to really hit hard with.
Yeah, so good. And the Coral Giant is
the main thing.
Crushing 3 Ensnare Iron Resolve.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'd like to see this troop of ancients be a troop of geckos. It could almost be 2 troops of geckos, which would give you some nice quick chaff.
Yeah, that might have been a model choice.
Right, potentially. Right. The Regiment of Ancients, I think, are really good. Yeah, solid list. And since the Ringers played 5 games, I'm going to give it to the guy who hasn't played just 5 games.
I think we all agree, right?
I don't think this guy plays a lot either, though. I believe he's from the Cape Cod group.
Yep. Josh is chiming in. He says you sit behind the horde and suck 32 breath with no cover. That's it's height 4 versus height 1.
That's true.
Ooh.
So those 2 monsters just can sit right behind the horde.
That's solid.
Pain a lot. Yeah. Yeah, something. Yep. I dig it.
All right, so it sounds like we're taking Greg's on this one.
I would think so.
Especially because it's against the Ringer.
Right. Be kind of messed up to vote for the Ringer.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so our last match here is...
and we better be divided in our...
I was like, there's
opinion.
like 3 matches that we haven't all agreed on.
Yeah. We might have to give up on the bet this time. I don't know.
No, we're not giving up. There's still a
winner. There's still a winner.
Because we weren't 100% the same. It'd just be more interesting if there was more.
And a loser.
Anyway.
All right. So I've got Tony's list here, and it is entitled "The List That Is So Awesome Jim Had to Run a Tournament to Get Away From It." So he's got a horde of Salamander Primes as well, but he gave him the Crushing Strength 2. And
he's playing Salamanders?
Salamanders, yeah. And right, you take Salamanders, multiple armies. He has another horde of Primes with the Amulet of Thorns. He has a horde of Ancients on Rhinosaurs with a Caterpillar. 3 Lechalodons.
Yep.
They're the
little shooters, right?
5 shots shooters. With
5 shots with piercing 1 firebolts.
Yep.
They're good. They hit on 3s, don't they, or 4s?
They hit on 3s, yeah.
3s, yeah, they're pretty good. And they're height 2, I think.
Monsters,
height 2.
Height 4.
No, they specifically say in their profile height 2.
Height 2, yeah.
Yeah.
And he has 3 Clan Lords on Fire Drakes with wings.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
1 has Boots of Levitation, 1 has Dwarven Ale. So this, he took a similar type of deal last year. So
it pumps out pain when it wants to.
Seriously, it just shoots you up really good.
Tony just doesn't play very much,
right? It's a great list. I don't want to play that.
Yeah, that would eat you for breakfast.
Oh, it would destroy me.
It will, because he brings the Vermont maple syrup.
Literally for breakfast. Plus with the Rhinosaurs, they come out and hit really hard.
Rhinosaurs are pretty scary.
And he took the good choice of Caterpillar on them.
Caterpillar, and then those 2 hordes are hard to get rid of too. One of them is defense 5.
It's a tough list.
Clan Lords on Fire Drakes are pretty scary because they're both aggressive. They can hit you hard in combat, but that breath is nothing to be, 16 breath with vicious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right.
All right, and then let's look at Mr. Murphy's Undead.
Ooh, 3 things of ghouls. Who's reading this?
He has 2 troops of ghouls and a regiment of ghouls.
I like it.
Noob. There should be 3 regiments.
He has 2 regiments of wraiths.
Should be 2 troops.
He has a legion of zombies. He has a legion of zombies with the Hammer of Measured Force, because I think that's how they come out of the box too. Yep. Werewolves horde with the Brew of Strength,
as they come.
Regiment of Soul Reaver Cav with the Potion of the Caterpillar. Revenant King on Undead Worm flying. Lich King with Bane Chant 3 mounted on an undead horse with Murden's Amulet of the Fire Heart and a Lycanus.
This is a cool list. The race, I think, could potentially give Tony quite a bit of trouble.
Absolutely.
The Revenant King on Undead Worm, this is a great opportunity where that +1 movement could have really been a huge tactical benefit. But I think even without it, it's still very good.
Because the nerve is so high.
Yep. And all it needs to do is cause 1 wound to that Clan Lord on Fire Drake to knock it in place.
Which one?
It's still that issue, though, where he can sit the Clan Lords behind the Horde, and he can have it so you can't land.
True.
As long as you're in his front arc, you can't land.
Yep. But that's true, but if he's doing that, then I think Chris can charge the Hordes with the Soul Reaver Cav and the Werewolves. Because they're going to their range is further than what... If you're sitting behind the Horde, you have to get within charge range of those 2 units.
I don't think Chris has enough to do that, because then there's other things coming. He can't kill both of those Hordes at once.
I also think, given Jim's notorious reputation for dense tables, the Werewolves will have some trouble because the Salamanders can be in positions where they're going to move through terrain, and the Werewolves would be hindered.
I really like this undead list. I think the Lich, it's got enough surge that those wraiths can be really threatening. Speed, the charge 20 can really give some good tactical ability. The Werewolves and the Soul Reavers can really double charge up on some stuff. I don't think Tony, if he wants to keep the Clan Lords and Fire Drakes conservatively back, he doesn't outspeed the stuff. And if he puts them forward, he leaves himself vulnerable to some weird wonky surges.
Sure.
I've gone to give it to the Undead mostly because I think Undead do fairly well against things that want to place either maneuvering around with flyers or standoffish, because I think he can chew through it. And those troops of ghouls can block up the stuff that would countercharge.
Also, the Legion of Zombies,
surge, though. It's not like he can
not going anywhere.
No.
And they're gonna give fits to whatever wants to fight them.
Yeah. This is tough, though. I like the other list, too. The other list is good. I mean, the fact that Tony doesn't play much, but the other list is good.
And the thing is this undead list is not that dissimilar from the undead list I run. And I think my undead list, if I was using it and I was facing that Salamander list, I wouldn't be saying this is a bad matchup for me.
Right.
So that's the main thing.
Jake's favorite list of the bunch is the one that's closest to the one that he plays.
Of course.
Go figure.
Jake, how's your Masters bid coming this year?
It's terrible.
Sure.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I know, man.
No, I like Murphy's list too, and he's been playing Undead for a while. But
I played him at Unplugged. He played a tight game.
Yeah, and he's slowly been evolving the list.
Right.
And I think those 2 regiments of wraiths are a good addition to what he's been playing with.
The Lycanus hero, I think, will support him very well against Tony because it can go far out on a flank, and if stuff want to deal with it, he's going to leave the rest of the center vulnerable. I think Tony's list really is going to have... There's a lot of threats in this undead list that Tony needs to keep in mind. And then with Surge rendered in, it's not linear threats. It's threats that can come from all different angles. I don't think Tony's played enough to fully compensate for those.
Sure. I think I'm going to go with Tony, and I think, again, it comes to the fact that the real scary units in this list, just the Werewolves and the Soul Reaver Cavalry, which aren't that difficult to waver.
True.
Right.
And once you waver them,
they're in trouble.
That really throws a wrench in any undead player's plans.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much breath does he have? 40-something breath attacks?
48. And then shots
plus the 15 shots from the Lechalodons.
Right.
Yep. I think the Lechalodons are actually scarier to Chris's list than the breath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it all depends. I mean, I feel like we're talking strategy here.
Yeah, but the breath attacks also have vicious.
It's true. It's true.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So are we actually agreeing a little bit on this matchup? Is that what I'm hearing?
I Oh man.
So Greg, you're going with Tony?
I'm going with Tony,
So
locked and loaded.
50-50. I'm going with
Flip a
Tony.
coin there. Ooh.
I'm going with Tony.
We're gonna sink this ship together.
Instant regret. See, it's just like when I submitted my list.
I kind of want to go with Chris just to mix up the predictions here, because
you're picking the right team here, John. You're picking the right team.
I probably would have picked Tony.
John, who's the better undead player, me or Jake?
Chris Murphy.
The Masters last year says me.
First in Northeast, not ranked in Mid-Atlantic.
15th at the Masters.
I was 17th. I was right behind you.
Girl, you were way lower than 17th.
I was not. Just look it up right now.
All right. Well, I'm taking Chris Murphy in this one. I'm taking Chris.
All right,
I think it's gonna be a real hard match for Chris, but I'm gonna go.
Team
with
Chris. Don't let us down, Chris.
Yep.
I don't want to wear whatever funny pants that Rossi can come up with.
Oh, it's not going to be pants.
Yeah, you're acting like it's pants and a shirt. What do we stop? It's crazy.
What are you talking about?
I wonder how we can find a baby's bonnet for a full-grown man.
You know what?
My head's pretty small.
Actually, I'm changing. No, I'm going with Tony.
No, you.
I'm doing it. I'm going with Tony.
This is 50-50 though, right? Like we agree, this is one of the tightest matchups from the whole first round.
Yeah, I think it's really close. It's really close.
Yeah, I think this is if I was at the tournament and I wasn't like playing, this would be the match I would like want to watch. One, because both of these guys are really fun to like watch play, and I think they're gonna have a good time. But two, because I think it's close.
Yeah,
right.
That'd be a good game. Jake, you should have come. By the way, I'm just saying. I mean,
yeah. Well, blame my cousin. He's getting married on Friday.
What a jerk!
Right.
Friday, so you can get here for Saturday.
It's a nighttime wedding, dude.
Of course, you don't need to sleep.
I drive this like what 5.5, 6 hours up to.
Dude, you could totally do that.
I actually thought about it, but this also allows me to go to a Halloween party with Jess's friends. So
that's a really lame excuse,
dude. I'll get to drink on Friday and Saturday. That's an awesome excuse.
Oh. All right, our matchups are in. So that's what we're playing on Saturday. So we'll see a few of you guys there, and we'll try to get some stuff posted online about how things are going.
Yeah, thanks for everybody who tuned in
to check it out. Until next time,
keep countercharging.
Keep countercharging.
Just shaking my head in sadness.
It's very awkward. I agree.
Right.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Later, buddies.
Going dark.